for today's session, concluding session of Garbhadan Sanskar. Yesterday we discussed about Garbhadan, what is Garbhadan, what is the need of a Garbhadan, and today we are going to discuss about what is the optimal things, what are the things which scriptures has mentioned when Garbhadan should be done, what is the specific time period, what is the specific age for that. So all those things we are going to discuss in today's session. Along with that, today we are going to discuss about the detailed food regimen which is given by our acharyas in the scripture in a pregnancy as per every month. So let's start. Yeah, yesterday actually we saw what is a preconception care actually. We saw that the couple should be fit, spiritually fit, mentally fit, physically fit, and economically stable, right? So both of the couple, like husband and wife, both should be taking care of all these concepts. Here I'm stressing a lot of times that the psychology or the happiness is very important because the mood with which you are going for the conception affects the baby's psychology. Sometimes it happens that the female or the mother, the woman who is going for the conception, sometimes she is not ready or she's not willing to have conception, but other family members they force her to have a child, and that's why so all those things, so that negative thinking also can come in the child's mind that I was not desired, or I have come on the wrong time, whatever. So negative impressions will come on the child's mind. So now in today's session we are going to see uh, what are the major factors which affect the child, and which how they should be, as which is explained as per Ayurveda. So the major factors are Ritu, Kshetra, Ambu, and Bij. So we are going to these are all Sanskrit words. Now we are going to see all what is the meaning of a Ritu, what is the meaning of a Kshetra, what is the meaning of a Ambu and Bija. And along with that, there are other factors are also like a Pancha Mahabhuta at the time of conception, because that is which Mahabhuta is a predominant, that is going to decide the prakriti of that child. And many of us now I think are aware of the prakriti. Every time we see the patient, we see the prakriti of the patient, and after that only we decide what medicine should be given, what diet should be given. So everything is the basic is prakriti. Then there are matruja bhava and pitruja bhava also, they affect the child's health and psychology. Then there are some rasaj bhava and the habits of a mother and father, like some good habits could be there, maybe spiritual habits, good values, good thought process, and there will be some negative habits also, like for example addiction of something. So everything is going to affect the child. Here we are, because as all of you know, this is a spiritual organization. Our ISKCON is a spiritual organization, and we give a lot of importance to the spirituality, because most of us has experienced that spirituality has a major role in our life. If we are physically and emotionally strong, but if we are spiritually weak, it creates a different impact on the mind. So it is not just a physical act of becoming a pregnant, but spiritual and emotional thing is also very important. It is a changing of a shift from a couplehood, like you are a couple, and then after that you are going to become a parent. So it is a shifting of that phase of your life. So there should be true desire that we want to grow as a family. Both husband and wife should have that strong desire, because that desire only will serve as an invitation to the new soul, the coming soul whom we are inviting. And we are inviting that soul, and we are going to help that soul fulfill his life's purpose, the ultimate goal, to achieve that ultimate goal. So that's why the spiritual side of this fertility is very important. I would like to give here one example, like if you feel that why that much preparation is needed, then like for example, I pray that no one gets second life. Everyone should go to back to Godhead in this lifetime only. But in case if you are going to if God gives or Krishna gives you the choice to go into the womb of a mother, would you like, after understanding spirituality, would you like to go in the womb of an ordinary woman or a woman who is a materialistic or who are having some wrong habits? No, because we have understood the importance of a spiritual thing. So definitely, if we are given the choice of a second birth, we will expect that we should take birth in a cultured family, where spiritual levels are high, where the thought process or the intellectual levels are high, where the parents are at elevated stage, where they are not like only materialistic. So if we are giving that much importance to this thing, and how we can expect that a higher soul whom we are invoking or we are accepting to come to our family will come easily, right? So for that, we need to do all these preparations. So and one important thing is that if we are doing all these panchakarma procedures and garbhadhan sanskar and all those things, if in case if a couple is not able to conceive naturally, nowadays there are other non-traditional routes are also there for the conception. For example, IVF, even surrogacy is also there nowadays. People are helping, taking help of all these things also. But in that condition also, these procedures help, because if you do panchakarma procedures, definitely the sperm and the ovum which is going to form in your body will be strong. So even IVF also works well if those couples who are not able to conceive naturally. Even in the case of a surrogacy also, because the egg because the zygote which is formed will be of your sperm and your ovum only. So that's why the seed will be strong. So even in case of a surrogacy also, it helps a lot. So let's see what are these four essential elements of the fertility. These are the four main essential elements: the timing or the ritu, the field or the kshetra, then fluid and nutrition, that is ambu, and seed, that is bijam. So what is timing? So our acharyas has explained that the ritu, when the conception should happen actually. So ritu is explained in two parts actually: the female's menstrual cycle, the complete menstrual cycle, also explained as a ritu, and the ovulation phase, when the ovulation occurs actually, egg is released. So that is also called as a ritu. So when the conception happens in that ovulation period or the actual ritu, then there are almost 99 to 100% of chances of a conception actually. So when a couple comes together, that should be the time period of the ovulation, where egg release is egg will come to the uterus, and the conception will happen. And another things, the timing also, as a nature's climate, that is also important. Like for example, if the season is good, here like in the nature, if you see the birds, animals, specifically birds, if you observe the Vasanta Rutu, in the month of February, March, that time Vasanta Rutu starts, where the trees are budding, flowers are coming in the on the trees, and eggs are hatching. So that time is like the time of happiness. So that is again the peak level of all the seasons, where that everywhere it's colorful and happy part. So that is the optimal season you can see. So it is not compulsory that, but if you have a timing or if you have a choice, you can choose that season. Then optimal timing, as per timing, if you see, there should be stability in life. If you want, if you are planning this conception, you should be stable. You should be settled in your responsibilities. like financial and even like duties and all. Because if you are already mentally, if you are unstable, you are not settled, you have so many responsibilities, and you are stressed out with those responsibilities, better to wait for some time. Even peaceful time in the world. Like for example, nowadays, now that fear has come down a lot, but COVID in a few months before, the situation was so bad. So that also affects the psychology of our mind. Then that is also not optimal time. So that is not considered as the optimal time for the conception. So the time should be peaceful in the world also, because if you are watching the news every day, that is giving the negative vibrations. So that you should avoid that timing, or otherwise you should be in association of such a, people or such a environment that it will make you more positive and peaceful. So that will help. Then spring season, as I explained. And another important time is that the female's menstrual cycle should be regular. It should be healthy menstrual cycle, and every month the ovulation should be occurring. So all those things come under the optimal time. And what is not optimal is the financial stress. If you have major shift at work, if you have lots of responsibilities. So, and if you, like for example, if you have any sick parent, that is making you more stressed out, or a sick the loved one who is having some disease or something. So you should not be in a hurry. You just take time, let the things come settle down, and then think of the conception. Then, as I explained, like calamities are there, even lots of problems are there at home. That is also not optimal time. Then fall season is there. There is a no ovulation. The cycles are not correct in the female. So you need to focus on that. Let's correct all those things and then think of the conception. Then comes the kshetra. So kshetra means field. So you can see whenever any seed we want to grow, we need a field, right? So in the field we sow the seed and then that seed grows. So like that here, our field is the uterus. So that field should be good. So let's see what is exactly the uterus is, because it is the place where literally the pregnancy grows. So there could be some conditions like a PCOS is there, or if some female who are obese, if they are eating some wrong food, there will be like unprocessed kapha will be there in the uterus. Maybe diabetic patient is there. Then maybe if someone has the habit of eating more chocolates, and also high levels of sugar, resistance to insulin, all those things will be there. So that will again affect the ovulation. So the field should be proper. So our field is uterus. So what is the optimal things for the uterus? So the optimal thing is it should be free of toxins. That's why the cleaning procedure which we have explained is very, very important. When you do Panchakarma procedures, automatically your field is getting clear of ama or the toxins. Doshas should be balanced. That's why we are focusing more on the all these detox procedures. Uterus with a clear passage and regular shape of the cavity. So there should not be any abnormality in the physical condition of the uterus, and there should not be any obstruction to the fallopian tube, because from these tubes only this ovum is traveling, and if the tubes are blocked, then the egg will not come, will not be able to come to the uterus. Not optimal. So what are the things which are not optimal? If you have high ama, so high toxins are there, which, as I explained yesterday, nowadays junk food is the main reason for all metabolic related problems. So if you have habits of eating wrong things and poor food combination. So this poor food combination is another topic of a discussion for at least 1 hour. We have already released a video called as a incompatible food or the wrong food combinations, where people they don't know, they keep on eating all these wrong food combinations, and that is the reason for deposition of the toxins or the creation of the ama. So you should know what is the wrong food combination or Viruddha Aharam also. That is the actual term in the Sanskrit. So Viruddha Aharam is, I will just explain in short that it is a term that are two things which are healthy if taken separately, but if they are mixed together, then the result on the body is it creates toxins in your body. So for example, if someone is eating non-vegetarian food and if they are adding curd or yogurt into it to marinate it, so that comes under incompatible food. Another simple example is milk plus citrus fruits. So someone who is taking strawberry milkshake for years together, then that is also wrong food combination. So that will create the toxins in your body. So like this, if you are habitual of eating all these wrong food combinations, that will create the toxin, and that toxin will get accumulated in parts of the body, and it may get accumulated in the uterus also. So that is also not optimal phase. But then large imbalances in the doshas. So that also comes under if you have a poor eating habits, if your lifestyle is wrong, then it will create the imbalances. Then uterus with a large masses, if someone is having fibroids or any abnormality in the shape and all, or if someone is having a tubal blocks or endometriosis, all these situations are not the optimal cases for the conception. You need to correct them and then think of conception. So these are the things, these are the terminologies. Polycystic PCOS is the polycystic ovarian syndrome, tube blockage, polyps could be there, fibroids could be there, uterine septum also will be there. These are all the reasons for the infertility. Then adhesions also we see a lot nowadays. Endometriosis is a very, very common disease nowadays. And if there is any infection in the uterus that needs to be corrected, then only go for the conception. Then healthy and nutritious food, that is ambu. This is the fourth factor, third factor, ritu, kshetra, and ambu. So ambu is a Sanskrit word. Ambu means liquid. Okay. So healthy fluids. So what are the healthy fluids in our body? It is the plasma, lymph, and blood. Okay. So it should be proper. So how this plasma, lymph, and blood will form get proper? Uh, it is when your digestive fire is good, and if you are eating the correct food, which is nutritious food, then only the plasma, the lymph, or the blood which is getting formed in your body will be proper. So you can see here pictorial presentation of plasma, lymph, and all these liquids in your body. Then the nutrients, like you should have the food which have a proper vitamins and minerals, and the food which nourishes the male and female hormones. So we are going to see what is that food in the next coming slides. So when you eat all these, when your dhatu is proper, when your blood, plasma, lymph is proper, your digestive fire is proper, and your food is proper, then the ojas, the last dhatu, which is going to form that is the actually essence of vitality and immunity is going to form. So that's why we see now some people, even though if they eat wrong food also, but their um, digestive fire is good, and you can see their ojas is also from they have a very strong immunity. We have seen in a COVID time period there are many doctors who were getting exposed to the COVID patients, and they were working continuously 8 9 months, but still they didn't got any infection. There are few doctors who didn't got any infection because their ojas factor is very strong. So that is the sar, that is the rasa of all the dhatus. Okay, when first dhatu is proper, uh, then it uh, then it creates the another, the coming dhatus will form will be the proper. So that's why we give lots of importance to the ojas. So what is the optimal ambu? It should be the plasma should be strong and good, lymph should be good, the your blood which is formed should be proper, hormones should be proper, and that you will get by having proper nutrition, well balanced diet, and all taking all vitamins and minerals. And what is the not optimal condition? So if you are suffering from dehydration, okay, if you are having dryness in your body, if you are having a recurrent palpitations or a fever, some people they get a recurrent fever So that immunity is very weak, body is very weak. So that is not a good condition actually. So and specifically in the female, if they are suffering from anemia, if they have fatigue, lack of energy, if they have skin related problems like eczema, psoriasis, all those things, irregular menstrual cycles are there, if they have acne on the face during the cycle, so that is the sign that there is a hormonal imbalance. And if diet habits are poor, so you are not getting proper food and your physical condition is not good, then your ambu factor is not strong enough. So if it is not strong, how you are going to nourish the child, right? So first you should be strong, specifically in the female actually she should be strong enough, then only she can nourish the another person in her womb. So and another important factor which affects all the factors is the stress. So let's see how stress can affect on the all these factors. When you are stressed out, when you have a tendency of getting stressed out with the small things, or if you are put in a situation for a long term in a stressful factor, then it shuts down the pituitary. Pituitary is a gland in our brain, and it is responsible. It's a master gland, and it is responsible for the stimulating the major hormones in our body. So it stimulates the other hormones so that all the functions of our body work well. So when pituitary shuts down, cortisol is released, and when cortisol is released, it affects the nervous system, and it creates an alert situation in your body. Okay, so it is automatic functioning, and our body or our all systems are kept at a panic mode. Okay, so it is an emergency mode. So whenever body is in that emergency mode, then dryness will come, and body will come onto the conservation mode. So body will, the functions will become minimal, because body is trying to conserve all the things. Okay, and uh, so that will affect the all the systems, so including reproductive system. So other organs will get affected definitely, but the reproductive organs also will get affected. So when uterus is, and actually uterus is the site for all, most many hormones are there which work on the uterus. So there is a cycle, 1 month full cycle in the female, where these hormones keep on changing. So when it is in conservation mode, all the hormones which are needed for the conception will come in a minimal level. So that is how this stress works. So even research has shown that when there is a stress, trauma, or anxiety, that affects the fertility rate. So it is like a subtle level. If you have stress, definitely it is going to affect the fertility rate. Then it also affects the quality and quantity of the sperm and testosterone hormone. Then it has seen that the women who are having lots of stress, if that stress is relieved, or if it is with the counseling, and if she is made into normal situation, because of the stress she was not able to conceive, but when the reason for the stress is removed, immediately she has conceived. So this is the effect of a stress, specifically in the cases of infertility. Now let's see the seed or bija, that is the fourth factor. So Rutu, Kshetra, Ampu, and bija. So for us, the bija is two things. Like in the male, it is a sperm, and in the female, it is the egg. Okay. So according to Ayurveda, this reproductive tissue, that is egg and sperm, is the last tissue in our body to be created. So it is a kind of a cycle, and we will see how the cycle is formed. See, when you eat correct food, so first factor is a rasa, which is formed. Then from rasa, the rakta, that is the blood is formed. Then from rakta, mamsa, that is muscles are formed. From mamsa, meda is formed, that is fat tissue in your body. When your meda is proper, then asti is formed, that is a bone, or the uh, cartilage, you can say. And then from asti dhatu, majja, or a bone marrow is formed. Okay. And from bone marrow, the last dhatu called as a shukra is formed, that is called as a sperm and ovum. So if you imagine here only, if you are eating wrong food, so your rasa dhatu is not nutritious, then definitely the rakta or the blood which you are getting to, which is getting transferred from the rasa dhatu will not be proper. When rakta is not proper, it will affect the mouth. So that's why those people who have digestion related problems, immediately you can see they may develop some skin related problems, or their muscle become weak, or they feel fatigue. In case of IBS, or the like patients who are having poor digestion, you see they become fatigued very soon. They can't work. They don't have much stamina. Their energy levels are very low. Okay, then fat. So either it will happen that they will become obese, or they will become thin. So the it will imbalance the fat, and along with that, their asti factor. That means the bones also will not be strong. So it will become more fragile. They are prone for the recurrent fractures. And then majja, that is bone marrow, which is going to form, will not be proper. That's why they also can't function well. So their brain also doesn't work well. And definitely, when sperm and ovum, which is formed after the last factor, will not be strong. So that's why this is a kind of a cycle. Because we have to see, as a doctor, we see where is the problem. Sometimes rasadhatu is good, but there is a problem in Raktagni. So from Rakta to Mamsa, you have some issues. So we see where is the problem, but basically nowadays, because of the wrong habits, this rasa factor only getting affected. So that's why it is affecting all the factors. Then the seed, it is the most refined and most complete tissue. And for the perfection, as I explained, it requires best food, even best thoughts, and best environment. Why thoughts also? Like if you see that sometimes if your mood is good, then you eat good, or you focus on the food. But sometimes if your mood is not good, then you don't feel like eating also. Or sometimes some people in a stress, they eat a lot, they just keep on eating. So that also affects. Then sperm are fully matured, produced. And, so actually, when panchakarma procedures are done, um, after that, when we give this rejuvenation medicine or a magic or aphrodisiac medicines, those medicines actually create the new sperm, and it takes 2 months to form the new sperm, which are very healthy, which are not like previously how the sperms were created. These are the very healthy and strong sperms. And for woman also, if a healthy environment is there, then the quality of an egg also changes. So what is the optimal timing when these seeds are more strong naturally? Is the 16 to 35. That's why yesterday someone asked the question about at the age of 40 should we conceive. So it is actually ideally it is not good. So this is the ideal time. Actually 16 is very early. In the scriptures it is mentioned 16 because that time those people are very strong. But at least 21, 22 is the actual age you can see nowadays if you see people. So from that till 35 or till 38 is the age you can see is the optimal time for the conception. You should have a good eating habits, you should have a good social habits, and minimal environmental toxins are also very important. So sometimes what happens if you are working or if you are staying in a place where lots of pollution is there, so that is also going to affect on the all the systems of your body, specifically your respiratory system. And you may get diseases like asthma or bronchitis related problems. So ideally all those things should be proper. And what is not optimal space for this for the from Bija is a extremely young age or an older age. Then if someone is addicted to the tobacco or excessive alcohol or a drug use, or there is a heavy pesticide exposure, then definitely the sperm and ovum is going to get affected. Heavy air pollution, heavy soil contamination. If there is a soil contamination, the food which you are getting from the soil will be affected by all those pesticides and all. So that will create a toxins. So that's why specifically panchakarma procedures we are suggesting, because whenever toxins are accumulated, they can relieve from the body. As you know, you enhance the health of each of these factors, then your fertility will begin to blossom like this flowers. So the actually ideally you see it is a 6 months procedure. This preparation phase is a 6 months procedure because you are invoking a special soul. You want a special child. So 3 month period is the cleanse period where we call the patient, we make the patient to hospitalize, and we do all the panchakarma procedures. After that, 3 months is a rejuvenation period because now we are giving the time for the body to create the new sperms and the new ovum. So that time you are mentally preparing yourself. Along with that, your body also getting stronger and stronger day by day by taking all this rejuvenation period. And this rejuvenation period, we ask the couple to follow the celibacy because we are waiting for the formation of the strong sperm and the ovum. Okay, and the culmination is the conception. So actually, you should, if you want to do all these balances, you should see the Ayurvedic practitioner only. They only will be able to give you all these rejuvenation medicines and all. Okay, so detox first, then rejuvenation, and then conception. Then we guarantee you of a healthy child. So what is the cleanse process? What we are cleaning? Basically, it's not just physical cleaning, as I explained yesterday also. Along with the physical cleaning, we are counseling the patient, or we are counseling the couples basically. So, so that mentally also they become fit. So you have to clean your anger, you have to clean your grief, toxins, emotional heaviness. Then fertility cleansing, and there is a we are doing all this panchakarma procedure so that deep seated toxins also go out of the body. So what panchakarma will do? Those who have taken panchakarma, you can ask those people. They they feel a kind of a clarity in their mind. Okay, their ego turns into a mellow. They become more loving person. They become more compassionate. There is a clarity of a mind, and there is a increased awareness because of this procedure. Because see, when body is clean, automatically mind also, it has an impact on the mind also. So mind also becomes more alert and clean. Along with that, emotional cleansing also very important. So if there is any um, hurt or any deep-seated emotional things are there with your partner, that also needs to be corrected. So together when the couple comes, because this is the time where you don't have work, right? You just are focusing on this physical and mental cleaning. So this is like purging your wrong things from both of you, and as you go deeper into the cleanse, so you feel that see, whenever you start meditating, you feel that there are some deep seated things which start coming out, which you have dumped in your subconscious mind. Slowly they start coming out. So we have seen sometimes during the some of the panchakarma procedures, the patient becomes overwhelmed. They start getting their past thought process. So this is like a purging. This is the cleaning. So specifically for the female, actually this womb is a very strong emotional center. So this we are doing. Along with that, marriage counseling is also done. So we have our counselors who, because see, when both of you come together, it should not happen that you start fighting. It should happen that your love should increase. Your both of you should have affection with each other. Should not have any regret or any hurt. Whatever past has happened is happened. So let's clear all those things and come together for the higher purpose. So that's why the marriage counseling is also done. Then daily sits are very important. So you have to reflect yourself, practice gratefulness. This is like making you emotionally more stronger. Okay. Then you should have compassion. You should have trust with each other. You should be sincere. You should be transparent. So all those things will come when you start sitting every day together. Then spiritual counseling, which we are doing, spiritual cleaning we are doing with our chanting, but along with all those things with the counseling, you should again remove the anger, greed, attachment, all those things. Then daily affirmations and prayer during these 3 months. You have to strengthen your resolve to please by beginning your day with following affirmations like a daily prayer. You can pray that I'm free of any bondage from the past. I have the opportunity to be born new every moment, and I choose to release all forms of a pain that keep me from being fully present. Then I forgive all those who have hurt me. I ask for the forgiveness from those whom I have hurt. Okay, give me strength. We pray that give me strength to please and be free so that I may offer my highest self to the child that is going to come. So when you pray every day like this, definitely the Almighty, the God who is sitting there, will give you the strength and will definitely send a higher soul in your womb. Then Ashoka baths we are giving for the female specifically because Shoka means sadness or a sorrow. So Ashoka is a herb or a plant which is specifically used for the female related problems. So Ashwas when given to the female, it helps to remove the sorrow. Specifically, female has this tendency they keep everything inside. So and then that affects the uterus. So these Ashoka baths are also very important. And now we are preparing the body for the Panchakarma. So what we do, first month what we do, we give the food which is easy to digest. We do the Deepan Pachana procedure which are enhancing your digestive fire. Then external therapies, the massages are done. So that's how we are preparing the body for the Panchakarma procedure. Then the second month, what we are doing is we, most of the time we are doing Panchakarma procedures like Vamana and Virechanam and Vasti and Nasyam and Rakta Moksha in between. So not necessary that we are doing all the four. If some patient is not suitable for the Vamana, it is a therapeutic vomiting, you can say. And Virechanam is a therapeutic purging. So if a patient is not able to take Vamana, the strength is not good, then we go for Vireshana. So it all depends how the patient is. So when we see the patient, when we discuss with the patient, counsel the patient, then we come to know which are the Panchakarma procedures to be done for that patient. So we as per that we give the these, procedures for the couple. Then third month we are doing rejuvenation therapies, like because with the Panchakarma procedure, body becomes little weak. So again rejuvenating so that the new cells which will be formed in the body will be strong. So Abhyangam or the body massages are there. Shalishashtik, so Pindus Veda, or a pediatric, it's a kind of a treatment or rejuvenation treatment which we are doing for 10 days. And Shirodhara. Many of you must have experienced about Shirodhara also. It is a very relaxing treatment. So these two are Abhyangam and Pedichil or Shalishashtik SSPS. These two are for physical strengthening, and Shirodhara is also physical strengthening, but along with that it is a mental strengthening also. Then next 3 months, so these 3 months, no need to stay at the hospital. We give the medicine. You have to take those medicines internally. So that will help. Now your body is clean. Now you have to take these medicines to strengthen the sperm and ovum. Along with that, we counsel about diet also, which diet to be taken more and which should be reduced. Then there are some yoga postures also which improve the bija, which help to create the new or strong seeds. So like moon salutations, lion pose, Ardha Matsyendrasana, Baddha Konasana. So all those are like specifically for the female. Some are for the male also. They help to strengthen the pelvic floor. Then pranayam is also very important. So Nadi Shodhan pranayam, Brahmari, like this pranayam also is done or taught to the couples. And then preparing for the conception. Now you have physically and mentally prepared, but then we counsel that which are the important days where you can come together for the conception. There are certain nakshatras also. Specific austerity, as I explained, 3 months you have to be celibate. You have to follow little austerity, and then come together. There is a specific timing also. So all these things which we do in the counseling, and then what consciousness you should have, both of you, both the couple should have, that is also taught. So let's see, in general we will see what is the food for the couple for strengthening sperm and ovum. Basically, for the male, uh, we during the time of conception or when you are thinking the conception or the rejuvenation time period, you should take more of the food which is containing more rice and ghee, because ghee also is the best for strengthening. Then herbs like ashwagandha and mucuna, couchbridge is kind of a herb which comes under the aphrodisiac, so it improves the virality. So those seeds. So we have prepared medicines also, and we have powdered forms also. So we guide the patient how you can take. But ashwagandha is one of the important, and crouchy beach is also one of the important ingredients for the aphrodisiac. In the female, we tell them to have more of a shatavari and ashoka because they balance the hormones. If someone is having polycystic ovarian syndrome or endometriosis, so you need to correct all those things, and after that you need to take all these herbs so that you should not get all those problems again. Okay, so shatavari and ashoka plays very important role. Then some of the medicated grita or cow ghee is also given, like a kalyanaka grita or a phala grita. So, as per the physician's advice, we are giving all these herbs for the female. Then, in the female, we suggest to have more of a urad dal or a black gram and a gingerly oil, that is the sesame seed oil, because these two are the things which help to strengthen the uterus more. As I explained, ashwagandha and crunchy helps in a male reproductive organs. Like this, these two help in a female reproductive organs. So our Garbha Sanskar goal is it's a package where we guide for the couples who want to be parents, and the aim is to bear and nurture a healthy and capable child who can face the pressures of an increasingly complex lifestyle. Nowadays, previously it was very easy to stay, live a life, but nowadays every day the complexity are increasing. People are also becoming complex. Jobs are also becoming complex. Life has become complex. So nowadays the challenges are increasing. So the child who is coming should be able to face all these uh, complexities of the life. So all this together, diet planning, then herbal preparations, yoga, music therapy, behavior guidelines, then medicines, all these when uh, come together, what do you think? Definitely it is going to affect the child, and the child will be born, will be physically strong, mentally strong, emotionally strong, spiritually strong. So that is how this Garbha Sanskara procedure is. And actually, these are the two sessions I have taken. This is, you can consider it as like a half session actually, because this Garbha Sanskara, in this we are including after delivering post natal care, and even the child, there are certain things for the child also. Again, after that, after child is born, there are certain things which are explained in the scriptures, like to again sharpening the memory more, making him more or him or her making more intelligent, more strong, and face the climatic changes. So all those things also come under this. But you can see whenever the child is these children are born, they are the special children. They you can see their milestones are a little faster than other kids. Um, because of the music therapy we give, the child can recognize that music and then it can sleep peacefully, because nowadays it's very difficult to make them sleep. They are become so hyper nowadays. So these all these things help, and certain things like Suvarna Prashan and all those things are also given after the birth of the child. So all these two things are also included, like post natal care, postpartum care, you can see, and again the child's health is also included in this. So this is done by the counseling. During the pregnancy, in Ayurveda, it is mentioned that every month diet is different. So along with the, it is not different. Along with the regular diet, you need to include certain specific things, uh, and like in the female specifically, we give some of the oils like a bala or samacharadi oil and ashwagandha to reduce the stretch marks and prevent the breast from the sagging. So and the food. So food is a very very important role. In modern science, it is explained that you should have all vitamins, minerals, and iron, calcium, all those things, right? But Ayurveda stresses some Ayurveda has a very subtle view on this. So Ayurveda stresses more on taking milk, ghee, and seasonal foods. Calcium can be taken by this a generalized diet, like calcium you get by dry dates, then edible gum, then poppy seeds, then iron and folic acid you get by taking black raisins, figs, saffron, spinach, beetroot, pomegranate, and apples. So these are the generalized things. But let's see what is mentioned in the scripture for every month. So along with all your normal food, you have to take in the first month you have to take a lot of cow milk. Okay, so milk at a room temperature you should keep on sipping throughout the how much you can take. Then it is mentioned that you should not travel in the first trimester. Second month, a cup of a milk with a spoon of a ashwagandha, yashtimudu, that is yashtimudu is a liquorice, and shatavari. So these three herbs you should add in the milk and you should take twice a day. Then if possible, you can use the pots which are made of gold and silver, so that the effects of gold and silver also will come in the milk, because gold has Ayurveda is using all these metals like gold and silver and many more also. So because these metals also affect on your body, gold is good to improve the immunity. That's why Suvarna Prashan is mentioned for the kids who are not having good immunity. Silver is very good for the mind. So it is not direct silver, but it is a process. It is a purified silver. Even gold also it is processed and purified. So it becomes easily acceptable by our body. Uh, then third month, it is a you have to mix 1 teaspoon of a ghee plus half teaspoon of a honey in a cup of a milk, like which should be the room temperature. You have to drink it every morning. Then buttermilk, rice, milk, and curd. You have to include more. Okay, because these are the sweet things. Like rice is sweet, which nourishes. So that's why specific kheer are also mentioned. We should take more kheer, rice kheer during the third month. Then in the fourth month, it is mentioned that you should consume at least 10 grams of a homemade butter, because fourth month and fifth month are very important as a mind. As scriptures mention that the mind starts functioning and the brain also starts functioning. So as you know, our brain is made of a more of a fat. So that's why it is mentioned that you should take more homemade butter, and uh, certain desires also start. In the fourth month, it is mentioned that a female is called as a Dauruda. That means she has two hearts. That means baby's heart and her own heart. So the desire starts developing in the female, and those desires are the desires of a baby. So, like for example, if a Prithvi Mahabhuta is less in the child will desire of eating some, or a child will desire of having something which increases the Prithvi Mahabhuta. So, the mother will have a desire to eating of mud. So, most of the female they eat mud, or they get the desire of eating mud. So intellectual use of this desire we can do. We can give wheat laddu because wheat also has a Prithvi Mahabhuta. So like this, we are counseling the patient and we are replacing those desires. So you have to fulfill all those desires of the female during this month, because the child is desiring through the mother. So if she has a desire of eating mud, we give her a wheat laddu, or we suggest her to have wheat laddu, so that her desire is get fulfilled, and even child also gets the Prithvi Mahabhuta. So like this, you have to use the desires and fulfill all the desires of all the good desires of the mother. Then fifth month, you are supposed to take 3 to 4 teaspoons of a cow ghee throughout the day. Then in sixth and seventh month, you have to take a medicated ghee, because during this month the weight starts increasing fast. Baby's weight increases very fast. So to facilitate that process, we are giving some medicated ghee that like in doctor suggests, but generally we are using Vidari Adigrita. In the month of 8, you have to take a bowl of kheer in the breakfast or in the lunch, so that again it will nourish more. And rice, semolina, wheat, all those things are expected to be eaten by the mother. And yavahu is specifically mentioned because it is more of a protein diet. You can see it's how it is prepared. Is 1 spoon of if you are taking one part of a tur dal, one part of a moong dal, same quantity, and half part of a bengal gram. You have soak it in a water, make it dry, and make a powder. Take 1 spoon of this powder and add 6 spoons of the water. Boil it and take this yavagu every day. So the protein also will get in a good amount in this time period. And in a ninth month, there is no specific diet. Yeah, in 8th month, we are giving some of the uh, vasti or the enema to facilitate the normal delivery. And ninth month, you have to take a regular diet along with the milk and ghee. So this is the food which is mentioned. Along with that, we are giving every month we are giving some medicines which are having some herbs which facilitate the growth of those organs, like every month which organ is growing, as per that those medicines also facilitate for that growth. And then music therapy is very important. As I explained, child can hear, so he can even react or give the response to the music and sound vibrations. So even mantra meditation is also important. Those like in ISKCON, we have seen that those parents who are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, their child when becomes irritable, and if they chant this mantra, child, because that child remembers, recognizes this mantra or the vibration, immediately child gets calmed down or child sleeps peacefully. So different kind of a mantra and different kind of things are also explained. So that we are doing in the counseling part. Uh, what we are providing, what are the services we are providing is the Panchakarma procedures for the couple, counseling, rejuvenation medicines, counseling in the pregnancy, music therapy, yoga, 2 types of yoga before conception and during the pregnancy. So different kind of a yoga are there, which we are providing, and the diet. So as I explained, generally this diet only, and along with that some specific diets are also explained. That is done in the counseling. So I think I have completed the session. If you have any questions, we will be taking the questions now. You can put the questions in the chat box. There is a question. I joined late. Can you please explain about 1 to 9 month diet? Actually, 1 to 9 month diet, specifically, just if you, in concluding, I want to explain that more of a milk, more of a cow ghee, and that is that is the main goal actually, and more of a nourishing things are mentioned. So, like first month you have to take only milk 6 by 6 normal temperature. Then specific kheers are mentioned. Specifically, rice kheer is mentioned. Then Vidaryadi Kritam is a kind of a medicated ghee is mentioned. In the fourth month, specifically, it is mentioned that you should take butter because homemade butter, around 10 grams of butter, so that it will help grow the brain cells will grow more. So, like this, it is mentioned. Um, I can put that chart like in our group, WhatsApp group, so you can get a detail. Then there is a question from Vinayak Shinde. What is the cost of a Panchakarma procedure at JB? See, basically, the cost of a Panchakarma procedure is different for different persons. For example, it all depends upon the room which you choose. If you are taking simple rooms like a Gokul room, the charges are different. If you are taking a deluxe room, the charges are different. So you have to go to our site where it is explained the detailed things are there. What are the charges? But now we are working on it. Nowadays we are now working to make a special program for this Garbhadan, so that the couples who are coming here to take this benefit should not have a much cost also. They should get the maximum benefit with the minimum cost. So we are working. Hopefully, it will come on the site in a few days. Then there is a question from Jigna. What should people over 35 consider? Yeah, actually, nowadays, if you see, uh, we are most of the females who are like a career oriented, so lots of time goes in that, and uh, age crosses. So some female they marry at the age of 30. Sometimes some of the female are getting married at 35 also. But and after that, you want to conceive, so you must actually. I will suggest that if those who are after 35, they must do panchakarma procedures and they must take all these rejuvenation therapies. Why? Because after 35 and 40, actually, body the tissues they start getting degenerated. So everything starts getting because that is the reproductive phase. That is the main reproductive phase. Some of the females at the 40, 42, they start getting menopause also. So you can see the quality of a ovum. What is the quality of ovum? So that's why those couples who are getting conception at a late age, they must go for panchakarma procedure. They must take a aphrodisiac medicine so that at least the quality of a sperm and ovum should be strong. So naturally, if you go for conception at this late age, definitely the child who will be born will be immunity wise compromised. Now it will not have good health. So if you go through all these procedures and then there are very less chances that child will get all these degenerative related problems. Uh, there is a question of Rashmi Raj. Uh, Bihar also can Panchamrit. Yes, definitely Panchamrit should be taken on every day throughout 9 months. Panchamrit is a very important factor. Traditionally, that is given, but that is a part of a Garbhadhan, which unknowingly the females are following, and it is very, very important so that the immunity of the child, the intellect of the child, the skin of the child will be good if you take Panchamrit every day. There is a question from Shukla. Hare Krishna, really wonderful session, very informative. How to use this. Yeah, Shatavari and Ashwagandha. Thank you, Shukla, for your appreciation. Uh, Ashwagandha and Shatavari. Actually, the ideal dose of Ashwagandha is 2 to 4 spoons. Can be taken on every day, and even Ashwagandha 2 to 4 tablets can be taken on every day by every male and female. Ashwagandha is and Shatavari for the females is ideally given, but it is not compulsory. Even Shatavari we give for the males also in certain situations, and Ashwagandha also we give for the females in certain conditions. So can be used, but if you want to keep your immunity strong, Ashwagandha can be taken by males. 2 to 4 tablets can be taken on every day with milk, and Shatavari 2 spoons in the morning and 2 spoons in the evening along with the milk can be taken. There is no side effect of a Shatavari and Ashwagandha because they come under Rasayana category in Ayurveda, and Rasayana are the things which are taken on the everyday throughout life. So it is not harmful how we eat the food, like that we can take the Ashwagandha and Shatavari. There is a question from Rashmi. Suggest some good music about doshas. What music we can use? See, basically, the music is different for different person. For example, those who are Vata dominant people, for them the calming music should be there because already they are very restless people. Vata is keep on continuously moving them, so the music should be something which is soothing. Classical music, if you see, is very soothing. So for them, we suggest this type of music. And those who are Pitta persons, they have more heat in their body. So for them, the music should be which is like a more of related with the water bodies or ocean. The music related with that kind of music. It should be there. So we are actually, and see, if you see even Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there are different tunes are there. Few tunes will be like soothing and calming, very slow tunes. For Pitta and Vata, they are good. And the fast tunes will be there. They are good for the people. So that can be used. Then there is a question that both have to admit her for at least 3 months. As we live in another state, taking leave for 3 months would be difficult. So can we follow certain things at home only? See, basically, uh, you want a good child also, and you don't want to give the time also. It should not happen like that. You should take out the time. 3 months from our life we are giving for a soul. We want that soul should be specific or special child. So you must give. But if not possible, at least you should come for the panchakarma procedures. So after counseling, so minimum 1.5 month, both of you should come and take the panchakarma procedures. The rejuvenation and aphrodisiac procedure can be aphrodisiac medicines can be taken at home, and the counseling also can be done through the phone. At least 1.5 month is must actually for the basic panchakarma procedure. There is a question that could you please share if normal delivery is possible if one had fibroid surgery? When the surgery has happened, how much time has passed? That is also important. So, add how many stitches were there? It also makes major effect on the, because already you see uterus whenever there is any surgery, there will be stitches. So uterus is in a condition, already marks are there, so it has become big, right? So there are less chances of a normal delivery in such a conditions. Yeah, definitely less chances. But if time is past, like maybe more than 4 5 years or more than that, then there are chances that the female can go for the normal delivery. Yes. What COVID precautions are there for international patients if they want to maintain high level of basically, we have a certain, our Bhaktivedanta Hospital and Research Institute has prepared one medicine, and they have done research on it also. So you can order that medicine, because it is seen that around 80 to 85% patients who were positive or who came in contact with the positive patients, when they took this medicine, on the third day it is seen that the results were negative, or their immunity increased, so that those who came in close contact of the COVID patient also, they did not get the COVID. So you can order that medicine. You can check with Bhaktivedanta Hospital, and it is not so costly. Also, it's very cheap medicine. Anyone can take it. Only those who are having piles, fissures, fistula, all those kind of related problems. For them, it is should be taken under the guidance of the doctor. So our doctors, Ayurveda doctors at Bhaktivedanta Hospital has done a very great job in this regard. You can check with them and order that medicine. And other things like maintaining distance, mask, sanitizer, all those things should be taken. There is a question from Brenda. In Ayurveda, do you consider that a uterus should be warm? If yes, what you use to warm up? I listen the warm uterus in Chinese medicine. In Ayurveda, there is no concept like a uterus should be warm. Uh, we have our natural hormones are there which maintain the temperature of the uterus. So only the thing is the hormone should be balanced. So in Ayurveda, there is no such concept like it should be warm and all. Only thing is that it should be the hormone should be balanced. Or if hormones are balanced, they will maintain the temperature of the uterus. How to clean from a long-term exposure to the air pollution. See, basically, air pollution affects your respiratory system. So, for the respiratory system, we are doing a procedure called as a Vamana, which cleans all the respiratory tissues. So this Vamana procedure can be taken if long-term exposure. How to clean the womb from emotions. Yeah, as I explained, Ashoka baths are very important. You can order Ashoka online. Ashoka herb powder is available. You can take Ashoka bath, just 2 spoons of Ashoka in a glass of water. You boil it nicely, strain and add it in a water which you are using for the bathing. So that will help. Then keeping your emotional status stable will definitely help. Um, yeah, so these two things, and if you don't get Ashoka powder, Ashoka Rishta is a kind of herb, and even Shatavari also will to clean your womb. The main goal is to yourself be happy, so that it will not affect your womb. If we use in vitro eggs, is it possible to get pregnant in the 40s? Uh, we cannot say it is 100% successful, but there are chances that pregnancy can happen. If you follow all these procedures, then the chances increases more. There is a question from Shameshwari. What is the remedy for irregular periods? So, see, basically, we have to see how irregular they are, how many months gap is there, and what kind of periods are there. If you are dependent on hormones, that we have to check. There are multiple things. If there is any hormonal imbalance is there, so sometimes just by taking Ashoka Rishta, kind of a medicine, the periods become regular. But if hormonal imbalance is too much, then you have to go for a certain Panchakarma procedures that makes the hormones in balance condition, and then periods become normal. But we have to find out what is the cause of irregular periods. So once we get the cause, then only we can treat. And it happens that sometimes that there is a hereditary, like from like a mother is having issue of a periods, sister is having issue of the periods, so that is it is hereditary. It takes then in such a condition it takes little more time, and sometimes it may remain irregular also. We have to find out what is the cause, then only you can treat it. There is one question: can the procedures be done off-site, such as following from home, continuing with the job, etc.? Need to take 3 months. See, basically, for the Panchakarma procedures, you have to get admitted because that is the main thing. Because that time only you can take rest and all. You are not supposed to go out. There are certain restrictions which you have to follow during these procedures. You should not get exposure to the sun. You should not get exposure to the AC, and then you are not supposed to take cold water. So certain rules are there. That's why you need to get hospitalized, and you have to stay under the observation of the doctors. If something happens, we are there to take care. So that's why it is very much needed. It is not like you are working and you take the Panchakarma procedures, then it won't give you proper result also. And I can say it will give you some side effects also. So it is not advised to uh, take these procedures, Panchakarma procedures, and take the treatment. So you must get admitted. Then I'm suffering from endometriosis and adenomyosis. Is it possible to conceive naturally or IVF is the only? Since how long you are suffering from endometriosis and adenomyosis? Is it a case of a surgery that we have to say? See, if surgery is done, see, adenomyosis is actually a kind of a thing which we have to take consider because sometimes because of the adenomyosis and endometriosis, very few chances of getting conceived naturally. So we can try actually. Sometimes it so happens that after cleaning procedure, your uterus becomes normal, and then you may conceive. And if you don't conceive, then the last option is IVF. But at least for that, we need to try. It varies patient to patient, so that's why it is difficult to say like 100% you can conceive naturally, but it becomes difficult. But sometimes some miracles also happen. So yeah, we can try at least. There is a question. Is it possible to record? Yeah, you will get the recording of the both the sessions in the group. We are we have already recorded both the sessions. So you will get the recording. Thank you, Brenda. Then there is a I get migraine before periods. What hormone balance is it, and how to avoid it? See, basically, we have one video on the menstruation. In that, I have discussed all these details about the issues related with the periods. So you can ask for that video. Migraine is very common in most of the females. That is the sign of a pitta imbalance. You can see pitta or a vata imbalance will be there. So you need to correct that balance. Um, and there are certain home remedies also which you can try for reducing the migraine. Basically, whenever the heat is there in the body, presentations yesterday and today's also. Yes, definitely will give you the recordings will give. I think questions are over in today's session. So um, if you have, if you want to come for the, uh, if you want to come for the these procedures, you can contact. You can go to our site. You can contact our Priya Chaitanya Prabhu also, we can make the arrangements. We can do. I think we should take out time for this because see, it is not the thing which is can be repeated again and again. Those who already have kids for them, we can't do anything. But those couples who are just married or they don't have any children, for them they should they must do all these procedures and feel the difference because see, normal kids everyone will have normal kids, but everyone has a desire to have a special children, special qualities, and if it is if we have a facility and if we can do something about it, why not? So I feel everyone, those the couple who are expecting their child, must a priority for these procedures. Clean their bodies, clean their mind, clean their heart, and uh, get the child who will serve your family definitely, but who will serve the society also. So we hear so many names, and we feel proud like Prabhupada, who has done a lot. So if one child is born like this, how many changes that child can do. So it is must. So you must come, take yourself, take a break from your lifestyle, all this heavy hectic schedule, and take the benefit of the knowledge which our scriptures has given. So I thank everyone for your patient listening and your questions. So thank you. Hare Krishna.